Welcome back, everybody. I'm Spencer.
I'm Lance.
And we are in the garage. Today, we're going to talk about... I forgot what we're talking about.
We're going to talk about the fact that orange, you glad that we were the same color?
Why are you dressed up? Why do you...
I came from work.
You don't look like you're in the garage.
I know.
You look like,
Actually, a plaid shirt is a common work shirt.
flannel.
Do you think
Yes.
on there they can tell what the material is?
Absolutely. 100%.
Is it 4K?
It is 4K.
Oh.
Lance has got some new Temu finds. We're going to make this a little slice of these videos because he orders 2 things a day, at least from Temu.
When they stop giving me free stuff, I'll stop ordering.
Yep, like these mugs. That is the White House being destroyed, by the way.
Well, not destroyed. It's the demolition.
Notice that is from China, and they sent us a thing of the White House being destroyed.
It is of the new ballroom construction, and you can't build the new ballroom without getting rid of what was already existing.
Okay.
So it's more of
So there's a military base under the table then.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, what do you got?
So this is what I got. Let me finish the crunchiness here. Let me get this over.
Get that close to the mic.
I just want to do it quietly.
Yeah.
All right. I am curious to see if you know what this is.
I'm going to give the camera guys over here.
If you know what this is, shout it out.
Yeah, shout it. Don't put it in the comments.
Yeah.
All right, so this has to roll. Okay. Hold on. Picture frame?
I am gonna let you know that I do know what.
Is it a picture frame or something like?
Nope.
Because they're not 45s actually.
No.
I thought they were 45s. They're not. I feel like it's something that has straps go around it and then squeezes everything together. These hang up on the wall.
No,
That just
for
for
storage. Yeah,
just for storage.
For storage. Yeah.
They feel very cheap.
I'm excited to tell you whenever you're ready.
I don't know.
Okay. Thanks for asking. I guess you didn't really ask. But I want you to imagine the inverse of this, but I think this shows on our camera right now, so I can show the people. Okay? This you shove down under the corner of all 4 of your tires when you start a car washing project. When you're washing your car or doing anything with a hose, you sit it under all 4 corners before you get started. And then as you work around and move your garden hose or your pressure washer hose or your air hose
I have seen them
or whatever, it rolls around the corner of the tire instead of jamming underneath the tire.
Nice. All right. Very cool. So on the detail card.
On the detail card, yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, that's my Temu
Very
find.
cool.
Yeah. And it was the right price.
Free?
It was free.
All right. Now that Lance has put his Temu toys away, we are going to talk about something near and dear to our hearts, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And that is some of our craziest towing.
Oh, I was actually just going to say it's the reason we're wearing orange tonight.
Oh, yeah. Because
we're serious about safety. Oh.
Safety.
Because we're serious about safety.
Yes. We're going to give you some examples of times that weren't exactly safe. And it's going to revolve around trailering different vehicles. Some of the mistakes we've made, some of the things we've heard about, some of the things we've learned along the way that hopefully teach people to do better than we did at those times.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. This could be, some inspiration for like the farmers commercials where it's like,
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it. No, that's McDonald's.
Okay.
No, they're the ones that are like,
we are
farmers.
like a good neighbor.
Yeah. Nope. Okay. But they say they know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've seen a thing or two in our experiences.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to let Lance take it away on the first story here because he's got some good ones.
Okay. I'll tell you what. One of these ones happened to me early in my driving career. There was a situation that I did not bargain for. I was working construction with my dad, and he sent me to the lumber yard. This was kind of like your actual traditional lumber yard, not your Lowe's where you kind of load it yourself type thing. He needed roughly like 60 sheets of plywood. And they came with the forklift and they laid it in the bed of the pickup truck, and the pickup truck was absolutely squatting. Like that was for sure. Like it was way overloaded. And I slammed the tailgate, and that left about like, I don't know, like maybe 20 of the sheets showing above the tailgate or something like that. And the guy even asked me, he's like, "Do you want to strap that down?" And I was like, "No, I got the tailgate closed. Like, like I think it's gonna be all right." Dude, plywood is slippery. Okay, let me tell you that much. But that's not the most important part. The most important part is you pulled out of this lumber yard up a hill onto a 2-lane highway with a center lane, so a 3-lane type highway. And I was turning left across traffic. And as I gave it the gas to go up the hill, it came back and slammed the tailgate that was not well latched. And out across 3 lanes of traffic, I laid out plywood like a deck of cards. Okay? I mean, it was fanned out perfectly. And what do you do? Like you know what I mean? Like I'm just like a kid, like 16 years old, like just got my license and had no idea what to do. So there's not a lot of things you can do or say in that situation. But what I did do is I threw the 4-ways on. Okay.
Reasonable.
Yeah, I threw the 4-ways on, and then I put it in the center, the truck in the center lane to kind of keep it, just in case somebody came flying through. At least maybe they'd, hop the plywood or something and not like run into me. And then I just hustled. I just hustled. Yep. Like I'm just trying to throw sheets of plywood in the bed as quick as I can. One of the people that stopped saw me and helped me out and got a few more in. People from the lumber yard, I don't think they were super happy. They came up though and sent like 2 or 3 guys up. We had that truck reloaded, good to go within like 5 to 7 minutes. Like it was good. And I actually in the center lane there put a strap on. And so I'm just going to tell you the lesson to be learned here is use your 4-ways if you do this, and put a strap on your plywood.
Secure the loads.
Secure the load. That that's not going anywhere. Kind of flip it a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I will piggyback off of that. This is more of a mechanical issue, but also deals with securement. I had a little 01 Chevy Silverado with some big tires, sort of big. They were like 33s. I felt like they were big when I was like 16. And aftermarket wheels. And those aftermarket wheels, for whatever reason, loved to come loose. I knew if I rotated tires, put new tires on, I needed to stop after about 500 miles or so, sometimes less than that, and re-secure the lug nuts because they would be loose. And I think I had a road trip, so I put new tires on it, and then like that night I was driving to Tennessee, and Tennessee's 650 miles. That's an important detail for this story.
So you recheck them at about 500.
You would want to recheck them about 500.
Okay. 650
actually,
miles?
that's not even really true. You want to check them probably around 300. 200 to 300 would be prime time to just make sure that those bad boys are tight. Because if not, when you're about an hour outside of Bristol, Tennessee, you will watch the tire on your truck in the middle of the night disappear. And I don't mean like something small happened. I mean, you're doing 85 miles an hour down a hill and it's just nothing but sparks because the rear tire has flown off of your truck.
How did you, was it dangerous at all?
No, it wasn't terribly.
What if it had been a front wheel?
That would have been real dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Would have been terrible.
Yeah.
Would have been terrible. Luckily, it was a rear wheel. And just like I mean, you couldn't slam on the brakes. We were in a construction zone too, which you just always are. If something bad happens, you will be in a construction zone. That's something to keep in mind. Statistically, 100% of breakdowns happen in a construction zone.
They have those emergency pull-offs.
Yeah, about every 5 miles. So we drove to a emergency turnaround after the construction zone. And we look around and we're like, this tire is just gone. It is just gone. And we drove we drove at least a mile from where the tire fell off.
How'd you do that?
You just keep going. That's it. I mean, we had a good run up to it because we were going pretty fast.
Drum or disc brakes?
Disc.
Were they ground down?
Oh yeah. It took about that much off of the rotor. And got pulled off. Don't have a flashlight with me. Nothing like that. This was before cell phones had flashlights on them. And so start looking around, just absolutely nothing. And then, of course, the cop shows up. And we're like, hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like we can't drive anywhere. He was actually very nice. We said, we're going to have to sleep here for the night because we cannot find this tire. I mean, we were looking. I was in ravines in the middle of Route 81. 81. Just climbing up and down in these things. And so the cop said, it's fine. You guys can sleep here. Call AAA or whatever you got to do, which I didn't have AAA at that time, I don't think. But call a tow truck in the morning or look around in the daylight. And so he drives off and we start to snuggle in for the night. This was also Dad and I. And little 10 minutes later, the cop comes back with my tire. He comes rolling it down the highway. His cruiser's up, forever. You can barely see where he's coming from. And he's like, I was driving. And he was from the South. This was like a country boy officer from the South. It was hilarious. He's like, man, it was down there. he's like, I couldn't believe it. And so he rolls this tire back. We pop it on, and then we're like, shoot, no lug nuts. So we stole one lug nut for each of the other wheels.
They can't.
Yeah, I know. They can't take it.
Yeah.
We tightened all of them, which also all I had was one little tiny jack. I think it was the bottle jack, but it was a real bad one. I don't even think it was originally from that truck. And we are in the dirt, on a hill. So we blocked up the tires and held the brake. I think I got in and held the brake, and Dad put the tire on. And we cruised the other however many miles, 200 miles or something that was necessary, 300, I don't know, and made it to Chattanooga.
How many times did you recheck it in between there?
I think 3.
Okay.
I think 3. We needed fuel fairly closely, I think, after that anyways. That was a good check. But yeah, it only had, I guess, one of the other ones, because it was 6 lugs, so we probably took 2 almost off of the, or one of them had, I don't know, you know what I mean? But 3 doesn't sound good, stealing that from the other wheels. So we probably had...
probably sold 2 from each wheel.
But it sparked. It was like in your mirror looking back, it looked like there was a fireball coming out of the back of the truck. I'm sure the other cars were excited. So, if you get tires changed, you want to make sure that the lugs are tight. You also... keep in mind that sometimes you break down in really inconvenient spots and you just got to do the best that you can.
Yeah. So
also, pack a flashlight. Have a flashlight, not just your cell phone, in your car.
I'll take you to another story. These are all self-created emergencies. We probably should share some more naturally occurring, kinds of emergencies. But nonetheless, I helped my dad. It's Dad again. Help my dad. He might have been irresponsible. We're not sure.
I think it's funny that he didn't strap down that plywood. He wasn't there to strap down that plywood. So that seems like that was you. And I 100% put those tires on the truck without him.
He didn't tell me to strap it down.
Yeah.
So
I needed explicit instructions.
Anyway. We were on eBay one night, and there was a good deal on a K5 Blazer, and
This was gnarly.
Okay.
This was
A K5 Blazer, like probably like mid 80s, something like that. And we were the high bidder, but like the thing didn't have a working engine or transmission. Like they might have just been sitting in the trunk of it or something.
Can I just add on to that?
Yeah.
Transmission did not work in it. Transmission.
That's what it
I mean,
was.
it was installed.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
just wouldn't move front, back, anything.
Right.
Engine actually ran really well, and it was pretty much rust free.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. Well, anyway, I remember it needing some work, and it was located on Long Island, which is a vast area. But the point is, you don't get to Long Island without going through New York City, and that means bridges, tunnels, tolls, construction. You name it. Like it's pretty impossible to get anywhere on Long Island without a lot of trouble, at least from Pennsylvania. So that being said, he had a friend that we always borrowed a car trailer from, but realized when we were ready to borrow this car trailer that either it wasn't available, or I think the bigger issue was this thing had wider tires and stuff like that, had like a lift on it, I think, and it would not fit in the dimensions of the normal car trailer with like the side rails that were on it. So he decided to borrow a deck over trailer from somebody who claimed, like the person said it was registered as a 8,000 pound trailer or something like that, or 7,000 pound trailer, but it was a glorified deck over snowmobile trailer. I mean, like it was like when it tilted, I think, and it tilted at such a steep angle because it was so short that whenever you had the Blazer on it, the Blazer four corner, wheels, tires were like at the four corners of the trailer. Like, I mean, this thing just dwarfed this trailer. And the tires, I mean, are,
they were wheelbarrow tires. I mean,
they step above a donut or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
like
they were tiny. They were tiny.
Tractor Supply has these tires on the shelf in the back for $17.99 right now. Okay,
with wheel.
Yeah, with the wheel. Which actually, we could have bought a vast inventory of them and brought them with us. But my point is, we started towing this thing, and within just miles, we hear boom, and like it's a blowout. And I think the first one we changed. I think we did have a spare, but all the other tires are like hot as can be, and we get like 7 more miles down the road, and another one blows, and we end up.
You could still see we were on the other side of New York City, thankfully.
Yeah. But
you could still see the city clearly. The buildings were large.
We had to leave it sitting along an extremely busy highway until we could actually get back there with a proper trailer. So the deal is, use equipment that is properly sized for your needs and actually check it out. Make sure that like you have the correct pressure in your tires. Make sure that they're not running hot. Make sure the tread's not coming off. There's a lot of things that can happen when trailering. Spencer, any trailering stories?
Any trailering story? Is there something you're thinking of that I don't know?
You ever bring a Traverse?
Oh man. This was dangerous. I don't feel too responsible really on this one.
Right.
As far as like I could have done some things differently. But it was downright like a scary situation. So I went and picked up a Chevy Traverse for Lance from Copart, and it was near my wife's parents' house. So she went along with me. I went and picked up the Traverse, whatever. And before I left the house here at home, I aired up the tires. I did all this stuff. Now, I knew that our trailer needed tires, but we had used it for years. That week, whatever. We were doing a lot of car stuff. So I never really thought we need to put a new tire on this thing or anything like that. But the one tire was a little low, so I put air in it, whatever. And I pick up this Chevy Traverse, go to sleep at the in-laws' house for the night. And the next morning, my wife actually has an appointment. She was speaking at an event. So we got up real early, get on the road, and it is about an hour and 45 minutes, something like that, to where she needs to be at 9 in the morning or 9:30 in the morning. And we're running along, and I did think that the trailer was swaying a little bit. We were actually in the OBS, the old body style 3500 454 dually. Yeah. We had our dog in the back seat, everything like that, but it was actually going okay. But the Traverse was fairly large for the trailer that we had at the time anyways. Like it squeegeed the fenders, I believe, on that trailer going in.
Is
like
this the trailer that we traded up kind of
to get this one?
current
Yeah,
one?
it was the one we had for a long time.
Yep.
But we are cruising down the road and I'm maybe doing 65. I take it pretty easy, really, when I'm trailering. I figure there's just not a big rush, really. And the trailer had swayed a little bit. That was kind of odd, but I just thought, well, maybe it's just where the Traverse is going. I don't have time to really deal with this. I'll just drive a little bit slower. We'll get there on time. It'll be fine. And then all of a sudden I hear boom, which was one of the tires blowing out. And what I didn't realize is that when we left overnight, one of the rear tires on the back of the trailer had gone flat, which is why I was getting a little bit more sway, but it actually was towing okay. We're at a 3,500 truck. It's not like the heaviest load in the world. And it overheated the one on the other side, which was the oldest tire on that trailer. They were not a matching set. I'm going to tell you that right now. It was a little bit dry rotted, knew all that, but we've been using it that way. And that tire blew out. So when that happened, the weight really shifted hard at 65 or 70 miles an hour. And we were on a little bit of a corner and it just started swaying. I mean, and so I had the decision. I was like, do I purposely wreck the truck? Like, I mean, this was where it was at. Like, and you have half a second to decide, do I purposely wreck the truck into, we were really at an exit or like an on-ramp, you had some grass and stuff next to you, but it's down a hill. I'm like, if I go down there, we are probably going to roll the truck and the trailer, but we're probably going to live. And when this happened, I had a tractor trailer to my outside. Or do I try to hold on to it and keep it straight in the line, hopefully, and just slow down or whatever? But I mean, it was swaying. I'm like, I don't want to smack into a tractor trailer that's next to me. That seems like the worst option. So I had just half a second and I decided to just let her slow down. And it was the scariest about 2 seconds until you realized, okay, nope, I'm okay. We're gonna be okay here. We pulled over to the side of the road, everything like that. Made it over safely. A little bit, scared. Changed the pants, and dropped the trailer actually because it was a fairly large event that my wife was doing a speech at. And so we dropped the trailer and just left is what we did, and made it to the event and went back with a tractor supply tire later that night. But truly, again, on the equipment, we do take that for granted. I'll tell you that right now. We have not gone over the current trailer. Since we first got it?
Do you ever do pre-trips?
Inspections?
Yeah, like a pre-trip?
No, not really.
You go around with a baseball bat, you hit all the tires,
I don't do that. I do check the tire pressure
I do too.
If I'm going to be going somewhere. It's pretty much the end.
Okay. Yeah. So that was a scary situation for sure. I know that you had your hands full on that thing.
It was truly probably the scariest automotive thing that I've had happen. Because just the speed. Wife is along, dog is along. Luckily, it's before we had children or anything like that in the back seat. But yeah, it was
so. So the thing is, I had a similar situation, not necessarily a blowout, but just a crazy kind of swaying, trailer not loaded right situation. Mm-hmm. So I kind of took for granted the fact that the majority of my towing life, I towed with very heavy equipment. 2,500 to 3,500 HD type trucks. Or, dually. I had a dually for most of my towing that I did. And those are much more forgiving on things like, sway and stuff like that. You can kind of just drag something down the road. And even if it's not loaded right, they kind of, forgive you more or less. But I had a Chevy Cobalt that was showing some signs. I think it was I'm trying to think what it was. It was a oil. No, it wasn't the oil pump. That was you.
I blew that car up.
Yeah, no, it was something else. But it was something that was going on with my Cobalt that there was something I could not figure out, and I had to take it to a shop. I can't remember what the exact ailment was. But anyway, my dad had some good connections with a shop down near where he worked and said, hey, if you tow it down here, they'll look at it like immediately, just bring it on down. So I used the car trailer. I think it might have been the same one that you just talked about with this other incident.
Yeah,
but it was probably like 2 or 3 years earlier. But the only thing I had to tow with at that moment was a Chevy Tahoe. I had like a 96 or 97 Chevy Tahoe. And just to kind of put it in context, I mean, that's already like just like a 1500 size, vehicle. And then the rear springs were so weak and so saggy on that thing that I actually had to install helper springs. Like I bought those helper springs off of, eBay or something like that to get the ride height a little better. So when I put this trailer on there, it's really not like a proper tow vehicle. And in fact, even when loaded right, I still don't know if it would have handled it right. But I pulled the Cobalt or wedged the Cobalt onto the trailer, and I must not had it far enough forward. And I was young enough that like I didn't know just how critical tongue weight is. Like tongue weight is pretty much everything when you're loading. I mean, you can get away with doing just like kind of the right perfect amount of tongue weight and not really sagging your suspension. And I think that's what I was trying to do because I was worried about these helper springs and how weak it was in the rear. I didn't really want to like have the vehicle shooting for the stars. But anyway, in trying to not put too much tongue weight, I left the Cobalt too far back. And I would have the most uncontrollable swaying as I was going down like, this was 283 on the way to Lancaster. Down 283. And every time I'd go up a hill, the pulling motion, kept it pulled straight. But every time I go downhill,
the top, pushing you.
When it starts pushing you, that's when it really starts to sway and go nuts. And I had like tire smoking, sideways swaying on almost every hill until I finally figured out what was happening. Like I was like, man, is the Tahoe like that bad of a tow vehicle? And maybe it is, but it was not the main thing. So put your load on right. So like so far we've learned secure lug nuts, check tire pressures, have the right size trailer, and load the trailer properly. So like those are some lessons we've learned today so far.
Can I say one that I'm not sure what the lesson is, but maybe somebody can figure it out? And it would be just checking out your trailer. I guess that would be the lesson.
Yeah.
And that was I was using that same trailer. And that trailer, we'd actually, when we sold it, put some new fenders on it and stuff. Part of the reason we had to do that is I was going to pick up a couch in the night. Maybe it was winter, so it was probably like 5 o'clock and it was dark outside. But I'm going down the road and I just hear the loudest noise. The trailer's unloaded. The loudest noise. I see sparks and then I hear like a boom. I was like, what in the world just happened? Like there's nothing even on the trailer. Like it's just an empty trailer. And I go back to find out that the welds have broken off of the fender. And it was like a heavy duty fender. And of course it was the side that had our license plate on. So couldn't even have any funny business of just being like, whoops, which we would never do. Go back, make sure nobody hit your fender that's laying in the middle of the highway.
You did go back and find it?
I absolutely did. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Turned around. But this is the middle, I guess it wasn't the middle of the night. I keep saying middle of the night. It was just dark out. And I'm thinking it is in the middle of the highway. And somebody is going to hit this. I mean, the old fenders on it, the new ones we put on were cheap Chinese ones. These were honking. You could drive on fenders. I'm like, somebody's going to hit this thing and just destroy their car. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. It's sticking up, whatever. And luckily, somehow I got turned around on a 4-lane road and went back. No one had either driven by or no one hit it. But it was sitting directly in like the slow lane. Because that's the one I was, in. I picked it up and threw it in the truck, and we kind of went without incident after that. But wow, did that thing make some sparks and some noise when that took off. It was crazy.
Not that kind of thing, but it's just fun to mention. I have a Milwaukee Impact that I found on the road.
Well, there you go.
Somebody lost it. I mean, it was ground down like the side of it.
We still have it. It works over there.
But it works, and I still use it.
Oh man, do you have anything else, or are you good?
I don't know. I feel like that gives people a good flavor of what to look out for. Is there anything else you can think of?
Securing the load's important. Yeah, weighting the trailer correctly.
Yeah.
Trailer maintenance, tires. and securing the load are the two
Yeah.
biggest things. I've run a lot of trailers without lights, which I would not recommend, but
Yeah.
that is less scary to me than a dry rotted out tire.
We had the tow dolly situation.
Oh, we're like broken half?
Yeah, we towed a GMC Acadia, which is not a small vehicle. You know, I mean, it's not massive, but it's heavier than the average tow dolly is set up for. And we had a very
From Michigan.
average tow dolly. We took the tow dolly the whole way out to Michigan, and
I believe it was a $75 tow dolly.
It was $75. Yeah, yeah. And we took it the whole way back to Pennsylvania, and just within 20 miles of home, the swivel part of the tow dolly, where like it allows it to kind of turn around corners and stuff, separated from itself. Like we lost the middle of the tow dolly, and I think we used ratchet
and it broke
straps.
some of the bars and stuff up front, support bars, and
yeah.
We did. We were luckily, I mean, we were close enough to home to rig it up and make it, but it was not great. We couldn't turn. That's what it was.
Yeah, you couldn't turn.
We couldn't turn. You just like wanted to push the whole back of the Acadia rather than chattered across the pavement rather than like turning.
Yeah. Which it was
That
already
one-
a questionable thing because it was an all-wheel drive vehicle. We actually had to unhook the drive shaft and stuff to make it back to
Yeah, we did
Pennsylvania.
that.
But it worked. We got it back.
We made it.
So,
Oh man, I think there's probably a million more things. Oh, rent a trailer. That is one of the best suggestions I have. People, I think, forget about this.
Yeah.
I can tell you our area for like a decent trailer for 24 hours is like $75.
yeah, it's not bad. And actually,
For like a heavy duty, you're good. Yeah.
he may not agree with me on this, but I'll tell you, this has been my experience. The U-Haul trailers, the ones that kind of have like the trough, if you will, for the tires, are some of the best towing trailers I've ever towed with. Like whatever they did for the construction of those.
Well, they're easy to use. They're idiot proof too.
I'm telling you, man.
Surge
but like, I
brakes
can cruise with a 1500 pickup, and tow with those things, and it's amazing.
No, I'm with you on that for sure.
I mean, I'd even tow with like a 2003 Explorer.
Yeah. Did I do that or something?
No, it's just that you're never supposed to tow with a 2003 Explorer.
Are those ones roll over?
They're the ones that like the tires blow out.
Firestone, right?
Yeah, Firestone.
So Firestone had some issues with those.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, those are some of our trailering tips and stories that we have accumulated through some trials, some
Life
sweat,
lessons,
and some tears throughout the years. And yet, I will tell you, if you post videos on the internet of you loading a trailer at all, ever, everyone in the comments, no matter what you do,
it's wrong.
Will tell you that it's wrong.
Yeah.
And so
I like the strap people. The people that like do like the thing with the strap. And
and they cinch it down. Yeah, I throw mine in the door of the vehicle that I'm towing usually. But yeah, those I can never remember how to do it.
Those guys are
when
fancy.
I'm
They're fancy.
when I'm actually doing it, I can't remember. I'm like, all right, I know I do go around it like that, but
my favorite people is the people with the ratchet strap, where like they don't understand that you have to like pull the majority of the strap through the.
You got a bunch in
like
there.
they start cinching it up here, and it's just like 10 feet of floppy strap.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Since we're talking about straps, I'm gonna tick some people off here, I think. And that is, you don't need to cross straps. If you're anything you're towing, I'm thinking automotive or side by side, four-wheeler, whatever. A lot of people think crossing your straps like this is more secure because it's pulling it from the side to side. It's actually pretty much scientifically proven to not be the case. You just want to go straight back and go, as straight as you can, because in the cross scenario, if one strap were to come loose, it loosens all of them. If you do have one come loose so basically take the straight path or the straight as you can get, it does not loosen all the other straps.
Huh. So, okay. I didn't know that anybody did that because they thought it was like better.
Well, they do it to keep it from doing the side to side, which they don't walk side to side anyways.
You want another spoiler? A motorcycle? If you just take a strap from your triple tree down to the two corners, that is all it needs.
Yeah, that's true too.
The rear of a motorcycle does not need secured. So
you can just push down on the
You kind of max out the suspension mostly on the forks, and you're good.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, dude.
All right.
We helped some people today.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We will see you next time.